So I'm Michael. You can follow me at Biso on Twitter. I am. I have done a project, or I'm doing a project right now, a company right now, which is called RJDJ Me. I've also founded another company before that, which is called Last FM. And I'm also, I'm actually something like, I would say, like a startup veteran. I'm doing this thing since 99 or something, mainly from London. And I have also seen both sides of this game. I'm starting companies, but also I'm working with a fund in Vienna, the Speed Invest Fund, where we are investing into startups. And if there are any startups here, I would love to see your products and see what you guys are all about. But first of all, let me talk about my work a bit more. So first of all, I want to get our whole digital life on a plate now. We have tons of music in our pocket. We have movies, even before they are screened on the movie studios, in the cinemas. We can download them, we can look at them, we can check them out, we can, yeah, you know what. We have news, we have maps, we have restaurant recommendations, we have, of course, videos, everything online, digital, and most of it, the majority of it, is for free. So if you look at this whole digital world, you've got to ask yourself, how does it work? And mainly also, what would happen if our real world would work like our digital world? And I was thinking about this question for quite a while, and I then found a picture which I think nailed it pretty much. This picture, it's from Peter Bruegel the Elder, and it's called Lüleckeland. And there is this thing in Germany and also which is called Schlaraffenland. I don't know, is there anything like that here in Romania? But this was an idea in the medieval that, people have to eat themselves through a mountain of I don't know what, food. And then they would arrive in a land where basically the rivers are filled with milk and honey. There is what's it called? Goose, these kind of things, like the pig running around waiting to be eaten. The roofs of the houses are made from cake, and in general, it's just a great place to be in, right? Wouldn't it? Yeah? Just like you live there, you have everything, feels good. And you don't need to do much about it, and you can obviously see those three guys, they're enjoying it a lot. But now, where's the problem with this whole thing? Where's the problem with the Laberland? That's how this land is called. Obviously there is health problems, because people are just getting too fat. We're seeing similar things in different parts of the world. But there's other problems. Come on, guys. Anyone knows what that problem could be? Ooh. The panel before wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it quite a lot, actually. I don't know, are you guys still sleeping? No? Yeah? What do you think? You're not sleeping? All right, good, even better. All right, so I tell you about the problem. I personally think the guy who's sleeping there, or he's actually not sleeping, his eyes are open, you can't probably see it there, but he's having a big problem. And the biggest problem that guy has is what's next. And I think if you compare the Laberland to our digital world right now, then we're having exactly the same problem in our digital world. The problem is, what's next? As I said before, you can get everything for free. But really, do you want to eat that egg or that pig over there or some cake or I don't know what? What's next? That's the only and the biggest problem. And at the same time, I think, one of the most powerful consumer propositions you can make in the digital world today. So the lava land problem is key. I think we should all understand that's where we are in the digital world. So I tried to solve this problem once with a company called Last.fm. Who knows Last.fm? All right, that's good. Saves a bit of work here. So at that time, that was like in 2000, and Felix and Martin are the guys left and right from me. That guy with that big bunch of hair on top, that's actually me. So, so those guys came to me, they wanted to do an online record label. I said to them, guys, we're living in the post-Napster era. Everything is available for free. Why do you want to do an online record label, like to buy the physical records? Why do you want to do that? I mean, there's obviously a good reason to do that, and others done it already at that time and made a lot of money, but for us it didn't make sense, because I said we're living in the post-Napster era, and we have to think about solutions for this time. And the solution we came up with was Last.fm. And for everyone who doesn't know Last.fm, essentially Last.fm just playing music to you. One way how to consume Last.fm is you just listen to music, and when you listen, you can say love, hate, or skip to every track. And our backend learned what you were actually into, what kind of music you loved, what you hated, what you liked, and we connected it with a lot of other users. And by combining your taste with the taste of others, we found matches for you and just streamed that music to you. But then we extended the whole thing. We used scrobbling. We were teaming up with RJ from Audio Scrobbler, and we created a plugin that is just streaming all the information about the music you're listening to the Last.fm servers. And basically by doing that, the user got something like an online record collection that he could share and present and match and show to other people. And because we did that, because we collected all of this data, we managed to actually provide a lot of service and a lot of good stuff back to the user. There was a radio that was just playing whatever you wanted to. You had your top charts, weekly, daily, yearly, whatever top charts, and a lot of other information. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I met a couple that told me they have met because they loved each other's music collection through Last.fm, and when they met, they came together, and I guess they are having babies soon. But so this thing is powerful. It can do a lot. And one thing we did, unfortunately, you can't really see it here, but this is the map of music, how we call it. When you analyze all the data, all the stuff that people were listening to, you're able to cluster it. And you saw that some people listened to that kind of stuff, yeah? And that kind of stuff, if you looked at it, you could call it whatever, like rap, hip-hop. No, actually, rap, hip-hop is up there. And over there, there's something like singer-songwriter. And over here, there's some kind of mainstream whatever thing. And I mean, having this map was really great for us, because we felt like, hey, this is the first time that music is really mapped in a way sort of and not influenced by the music industry. We really see what people are listening to. But then when we looked at it closer, there was a lot of really important data in it. Like, I mean, you can't see it, but this band here, this is a band name, and it's called Radiohead. And Radiohead is positioned right between two clusters here, or actually 3 clusters. So which means that Radiohead, and by the time this was printed, Radiohead was the top-selling band in the world, I think. And what it means is that Radiohead attracted listeners from 2 different clusters, if not 3 different clusters. And that's, of course, a really powerful thing that made a lot of sales for these boys. And stuff like that we could all of a sudden see on this map. But as I said, the main thing was that we were actually able to provide, good, solid, great product for our users, and I think a lot of people loved it. So if you look at this, what we really did was we collected what is called attention data. Because the streaming services were not like really a big thing. I mean, it's a great service and so on, but the real value of Last.fm lies in actually listening to what people are listening, to what people are spending their time with when they listen to music. And that kind of data is called attention data, and that's what we collected. But if you look at the big picture, I mean, Last.fm, we started around 2000, but if you look what Facebook is doing, and increasingly doing, specifically with the last update, is nothing but that. The Open Graph is a great engine to collect attention data. So I think, or I don't think so, I'm sure that attention data is the glue of Web 2.0. And that's great. Obviously, a lot of good stuff is coming out of that, and a lot of good services, and Facebook is doing really well, as we all know. So, but then, let's zoom out a bit and look at this again, Last.fm. What do you guys think? On Last.fm, you have products like music, and you have consumers, listeners. How does it work? Is the product finding the consumer, or like in the real world, the consumer finds the product? Any idea? Yeah? That's it. Thank you. You get the free coffee afterwards. So he said it, the product finds consumers. That is a powerful thing. Just think about advertising. What's advertising actually doing? I mean, look at, switch on TV, and then TV says, hello, person, there's a product. It's really good to wash your hair, even if you have no hair, and you can get it there and there. So that's what advertising is. But why should you do advertising like in the perfect, in the perfect world of, let's say, Last.fm, where actually the product, where the producer of a product doesn't need to say, hey, consumer, here's the product, you go and get it there and there, it's the coolest product ever. It's just there, and it finds its way to the user, to the right ear in the case of Last.fm automatically. And so if you look at that picture I showed just before, this little egg, there's an egg. Can you guys see that egg? Yeah, so egg, there's a what's called spoon in it. That egg is running around and sort of finding the right person for it to eat. No, be eaten. Yeah, that's that's right. And that egg is a Last.fm product. Yeah, and that pig over there in the same way. And the problem that guy is having is hopefully solved by that egg when it goes to the guy and the guy goes, oh, egg, great to have you here. I just wanted to have egg and now you're just coming by. Brilliant. So that's Last.fm, and that's attention data. But now, there's this big man who actually recently died called Steve Jobs, and he said that we're moving into a post-PC era. And I agree, that's exactly what's happening. And it was great in the last panel, by the way, Felix, you were mentioning RJDJ. Great stuff, and we heard this crazy thing about implants and sensors and all of that stuff. And that sounds pretty weird very often. But I think that kind of data is exactly what attention data is right now for the Web 2.0. And I call that data context data. I guess it's not the right word. If anyone has a better word, let me know. But I think that if you call attention data the glue of Web 2.0, then context data is the next thing. And it's the thing for the mobile, of course. If you look at the mobile phone, something is wrong with this picture. Don't know what, but doesn't matter. iPhones look different. But anyway, it's a thing you have it always with you, It's ultra personal, it's always online, always on you, multifunctional, multisensory input. So that thing can actually collect attention data much, much, much better than any PC or web browser or whatever could do. So what music and if you put music and attention data together, I think you get Last.fm or any model that's using a similar idea. If you use music, if you put music and context data together, I think you get RJDJ, and that's what I'm doing right now. And actually, I wanted to play you guys a track. Let me play you a track. Guys, can I unplug the audio here for a sec? Yeah, done. Am I still on this as well? Yeah, cool. Okay, so this is an RJDJ track, and actually it's not released. We should release it as soon as possible. We've done it over a year ago, and it's just a study how could music work out if it's customized for jogging. So imagine you're going jogging and you're listening to music. Let's see if we get this. All right, there should be music now. Yeah. Okay. There should be music. So it sounds weird. It's actually just recording what I was saying. But now you're starting to run. Yeah, great. And then you stop again. Starting to run. You start to run again. You go faster. And then you stop in front of the traffic light. And the feedback goes like crazy. Yeah. So that was just a live performance by Michael. No, it was just an RJDJ track about music for joggers. And let me plug this back in. Ooh, that was my iPhone. Great. So we did a lot of this stuff over the last 3 years, and I think we created the most advanced music on this planet, if you ask me. I think it's a great musical experience, but if you say music, most people think Madonna, Britney Spears, I don't know who else. But anyway, very often what we did, or what I think RJDJ does, is creating very, very weird soundscapes. Because we're using all possible sensory input. So what you heard with the jogging scene was just, what happens if you combine this with an accelerometer and a microphone. But last December, we created an app, which is called Inception, the app. And what we did is we extended the whole idea of sensory input to the maximum possible. So what we did is we didn't just check if the person is walking or if he speeds more than 30 miles per hour, if any friends of his are online, or if he's sleeping because it's nighttime and it's really quiet around him and he's not moving. We were also checking the weather at the location where he was. We were checking the location, what type of location is he in? Is he on an airport? Is he on the street? Is he on the beach? Wherever. And we were even checking the moon. And based on, for example, if it is full moon or not, we gave the user very specifically composed musical experiences. So what we used was some kind of a gaming mechanism in it. We also sold this app or made it available as a game. And people loved it. We had like 3 million downloads in no time. We have 4 million downloads now. And we had 100 years of total listening time in the first month. And if you look at this graph here, it shows you what context people were listening to what kind of music. And I think that's a powerful thing, and that's also something we have been doing since the rest of this year. If you look at the average time that people spent in this application, I personally think, because it's quite a complicated, a crazy application. Most iPhone apps are, little small things, whatever. But this thing was basically pretty crazy, but still people spent like 34 minutes per session on average in this application. So again, what we did was we created something where the product finds the consumer and not vice versa. And that's also something we want to do with our next app, which is Dimensions. It's again a Sonic adventure game. And I think it is just taking all of these learnings we made during the last year to a whole new level and actually making sense of the context, where the person is, what he is doing, what time of the day it is, if it is loud or quiet, and so on. And it puts that into a great Sonic experience. So follow RJDJ for any news. I do actually have, I have to, let me go online for a sec. I can show you a video. Do you have time for that? 7 minutes? Yeah, we do. Let me check. Oh, maybe not. This is just a bit crazy there. No, forget it. I show you the video next time, you know what? So, we have 7 minutes left, right? Exactly. If there are any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. So that was one hell of a presentation. I really enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yes.
Great. It's all about entertainment.
Well, it's important too. One question here, please.
In December.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. Question again?
So the app you just demoed,
Yeah.
when will it be live and what store?
So what I demoed was the jogging scene. It's not live. We could get it live, and send me an email, I send it to you. But the app that I just showed is going live in December.
Okay, and only for iPhone or?
Yes, initially certainly only for the iPhone. If we're managing to have as much traction as we had on Inception, we'll certainly think about porting it to other devices and other platforms.
Okay, then we can talk after.
More questions? So I actually had a question. Why are you doing the app first time for iOS every time? I mean, this is how you did for RJDJ. This is what you're doing right now. Yeah.
So the whole, so what we're doing is very, very. So before, in the last panel, there was this discussion about sort of doing only specific things natively on the phone and having most of the stuff in the backend or in the cloud, however that's called nowadays. But with RJDJ, we really have hardcore DSP programming. So what we're doing is like to create all these musical environments that is like, proper stuff. So the iPhone is delivering a very closed, in a way, but closed, controlled, and safe environment for us to do this. And everything is highly sort of customized for this. The whole engine we're using is actually working on Android phones and others. But really, I mean, there's how many? 300 million or more iPhones out there, and I don't even have the recent figure, but it's a huge market. And I mean, just within that market, you can achieve a lot. And we think before we don't see, massive traction within that market, it doesn't make sense to increase the team and port to other platforms as well.
Okay.
I have a question, sorry. How will you know that if I prefer gangster rap or classical music while I'm jogging?
Well, we don't, yeah, but we could, obviously, if you combine. if you combine attention data and context data, you obviously know this guy is more into classical music than anything else. But really what we did, especially with that scene, we call it scene that you just heard when I was shaking the phone, is we tried to explore very, very specific musical sort of pieces or musical, methods that fits into this specific activity. Like for example, when you stand still, the microphone is switched on, or the beat is actually multiplied by certain factors when you move faster or slower and so on. And so I think, this whole thing we're doing it's actually very early, and in a way it's almost like you're working on a new musical genre, which is, hopefully at some point able to include things like classical music and other music.
You get your context data from other sources, that is. I mean, because then this claim for universality, I think, is kind of dangerous. You create a musical style just for jogging and...
You mean like using data from other sources as well?
Yes, to cluster me into whether you know a priori that I like more, let's say, gangster rap, or you're doing that.
Yeah, actually we're working on something like that, and I hope we'll be able to release that soon as well, but that is certainly something we are looking into specifically, yeah.